Hi, in today's video I'll be comparing two air purifiers. First one is the Dyson HP00, second one is the Coway-Airmega AP1220B. What I want to do today is to go through some of the differences between the two and also give a couple of demonstrations as well. I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel, just give us a quick thumbs up. First of all, the air purification market is huge at the moment. Really, I suppose with the pandemic of the coronavirus, that's I suppose still going on at the moment as we speak. But with things like that, then people are a lot more aware of air quality, especially the concept of, say, wearing a mask. To an extent, for quite a while that was quite normal for a lot of people, which in previous years for a big chunk of people, then it has been quite alien. And a lot of the time, because of the pandemic, people were having to stay at home, and perhaps you realise when you're staying at home a lot that the air quality around you isn't as good as it should be. And that's why a lot of people are reverting to products like these, air purifiers. So a bit about the air purifiers themselves. As I say, with these two, the Dyson and the Coway, these are two very popular ones in the UK market at the moment. I have done separate videos on both of these, and I will post the links below, where I've talked about the individual specifications, performances, things like that. So if you want to have a more detailed review on both of those, then just have a look below. But I just really want to go through some of the comparisons between the two. Now, first of all, I'll cover the dimensions of the products. I know some of you are thinking, well, it's not too relevant, but for quite a lot of people, if you are in a limited space or if you're in a small flat or apartment, then the size could be quite important. So, first of all, on the Dyson one, you're looking around 63 centimetres or just under 25 inches high. And as far as the depth and the width is the same thing, then you're looking at 22 centimetres or just over 8.5 inches. The Coway is slightly bigger, so you're looking at around 72 centimetres or just over 28 inches. And the width of it, you are looking at 38 centimetres or just under 15 inches. So if size is important as to where it's going to sit, then that could be a deciding factor for you. Is the weight of the air purifier important for you? If so, the Coway is 8.7 kilograms against 3.9 kilograms for the Dyson. Now, if weight is a big factor for you, if you're having to move it around a lot from one room to another, and if you do struggle with your hands, things like arthritis, then again, that could be a big factor for you, that the Dyson is half the weight of the Coway. Now, personally, I wouldn't want to buy an air purifier purely on the weight or the size of it. For me, it would have to be the performance of it and some of the technology and some of the specification that the product has. Both air purifiers feature technology where it can actually focus the air and it can actually channel the air into a smaller, thinner direction. I'll give you a demonstration of that in a moment, but first of all, Coway call it the Airmega Jet technology and Dyson call it Jet Focus technology. It's a similar principle between the two, and all it's trying to do is, for example, if you're sat there in a chair, rather than having the air just going around the room, it just focuses it in a single direction. When it comes to the actual filtration ability, which I suppose is one of the main reasons you're buying this kind of product, then the Dyson can get rid of up to 99.95% of particles, and the Coway is 99.999%. So in theory, the performance of the actual purification on the Coway should be better. Clearly that kind of thing is very difficult to test in this kind of environment. If I had a science lab and some much higher technological equipment, then I might be able to prove it between the two. But in theory on this one, then the Coway should perform a little bit better on the actual filtration side. You will find that it comes down to the finer particles, and that's things like mold, viruses, bacteria, where that can make a little bit of a difference. And it comes down to the size of the particles as well that it's removing, and the Dyson can go down to 0.1 microns and the Coway down to 0.01 microns. So again, the ability on some of the smaller particles should be a little bit better on the Coway. And a lot of that is down to the filtration on both units. I will just show you that. I know I've shown it individually, but I did find that the Dyson is, I suppose, a little bit fiddly to get off. It's not really an issue though. So with the Dyson, you've got the single filter on the inside. That one is easy to take off. With the Coway, completely different concept. First of all, you've got this washable filter, so that can easily come off. With that, that's not designed to be replaced, that's just designed to be vacuumed on the odd occasion. It can be washed as well, but all I would normally say is just make sure it's completely dry before you put it back on. Then you've got the carbon filter, that's the next one, and then behind that you've got the HEPA filter. This is I said in my other video that I love this filter. No idea why, it's just a filter. I just think it's the chunkiness of it. That's just something I really like. But as you can see, it shows that it's the HEPA filter on top. It is important to get these in the right way. Clearly with this one, you've got the arrow on top. That just pops back in there. And then with the carbon filter, that just goes on the front. It's a nice fit, it just sits in place there. And then you put the next filter on there. As far as the cost of the filters, for the genuine Dyson filter, then you are looking around £70. And for the cost of the Coway filters, for the genuine filters, you're looking around £50. So again, although it's £20 difference, that's really, I suppose, an annual figure. Really depending on, I suppose, how much you're going to use it. Most manufacturers, so both the manufacturers, are looking approximately 8 hours a day. So if you're not going to use this as much, then clearly you're not going to need to replace the filters as often. It's really a case of keeping an eye on it, but you will find that if you keep an eye on it and if you replace the filters, then the performance of it should be a whole lot better. So as I say, £70 for the Dyson and £50 as an annual cost to replace the filters. But again, that could make a difference for you. So controllability, I think, is quite important between the two. On the Dyson, you do get a remote control. It's a cheeky little remote like that. It is designed so that when you're not using it, you can just pop it on top there. That's something I've always liked with some of the Dyson products. So I suppose as far as the controllability, the Dyson is probably a little bit easier. I've just zoomed in to show you the top of the Coway. Again, the touch controls on here are really good. It's very responsive, easy to change the settings. So although this one hasn't got the remote control, I wouldn't say it's necessarily a real negative point. Also, it just gives you a little bit more indication at the top here as to when the filter needs to be changed. You've also got things like a child lock facility. You can also turn the lights off if you want to. So if you want it on at night, then that's quite a good feature. So is the noise level important for you? For some people, if you're just going to be air purifying a room during the day, then it might not be too important. A lot of people want to have an air purifier on at night. Now, some manufacturers, so Dyson, are very cagey about providing the decibel rating as to the different levels, so it's a little bit unfair to compare the two. But what I will do is I'm just going to pop both of them on. So this is I know you won't be able to hear it, and it's probably not a great comparison, but I know you won't get anything through the microphone, but that's the minimum setting that the Dyson is on, and I can clearly hear that it's working. That's okay. As I turn the Coway on, I've put it on the silent setting, and I can tell that is way quieter. Just comparing the two, and it's unfortunate because I know through the microphone that I can't give you exact readings, but if silence is important for you, then the Coway is a clear winner in this section. So with the Dyson, this is actually a hot and cold fan and purifier. So inbuilt within the unit, then it can actually heat the air that is coming out of the air purifier. What it won't do is it won't actually cool the air. It's not an air conditioning unit. That's a mistake that some people make. They assume that if they're going to buy this kind of fan, it's going to cool the air down, but that's not the case. All it's doing is it's just speeding up the air that's arriving at you, and it gives you the effect that it's cooling you down. Using the coway-air-purifier technology, it has the effect of heating or cooling you down as well. So I suppose in theory, if you have got, say, an air conditioning unit, if you were to put it in front of that and then have the coway pointing at you or towards the room, then it has the effect of cooling you down, similar to a heater. If you've got a heater behind it, then that can provide some heat for you as well. I'm not saying that it heats the air, but what it does is it has the effect of heating or cooling the air around you. This is a test I want to do, and I know it probably looks a little bit crude. I've not got a huge amount of space in my showroom here, but it's something I wanted to try. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up each fan at a certain distance away from 4 candles. Now, the first one is going to be a metre away, and then it's every 50 centimetres that I'll set up another candle. So I'm going to light these, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put both of them on maximum power. They're only cold, so it's not using the heating on the Dyson. It's purely the cold using the focus technology that both of them have got, just to see if they can blow out any of the candles. So the first one, as I say, it's a metre away, and then 50 centimetres for the next candles. So I'm just going to see if this is the right distance, and if not, I might need to move them a little bit closer. Anyway, so now I've got the candles lit, I'm going to try the Dyson first. What I've done is I've had a look and I've measured the height at which it performs best at, just to make sure that both of the air purifiers have got a fair chance at this. So clearly on the first test, that blew all 4 candles out. That's very impressive. So I think what I want to do is I'm just going to space it out a little bit more. Well, what I'm going to do, rather than lighting all 4, I'm going to light one, and I'm going to take it further away to see how far it will blow the candle out. So hopefully you can see that over here now. This is at 3 meters. Let's see how well it performs. Yeah, it wasn't really an issue, so that's at 3 meters. I think the next one to do, because I've almost reached the end here, clearly this isn't just on top of some washing machine, so as I say, it's a little bit of a crude demonstration, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to move the fan back a meter to see how well that performs then. So I'll just show you this now. We're actually up to 4 meters. I've just come mobile, so let's have a quick look. So we've got the candle here, and you can see that we're up to 4 meters away now, and because I've got the remote control, then we can just see how well this one performs. Let's just go and switch it on here. Just about. It just started to struggle at the end. So even at 4 meters, then that's still very impressive. So now we're up to 5 meters. Let's just see how this is doing. I'll try and stay out of the way. And you can see just here, that's just blown it out. So that's, oh no, it's not. No, so at 5 meters, that's really as far as that will go, the Dyson one. And it's right on the edge, just right on the cusp of being blown out. So I'd say at 5 meters, that's almost as good as it gets, which, to be fair, I still think is pretty impressive. So now I'm going to try the coway, and as you can see, I've had to use the box underneath just to make sure it's at the same level as the candles. Hopefully you can see in the distance, I've got one set up at 3 meters, one at 4 meters. So we're going to try those first, just to see how well we get on. I'll just show you the controls on top. So I'm going to turn it on. I'm using the focus control, because that's quite important. Let's select the turbo setting as well. Want to give it the best chance. So as we set it going, you can just see that it's got to the 3 meters no problem. 4 meters is just struggling now, so not quite as good as the Dyson. What I might do is I might just try one of the other settings. As you can see, it's just at the point of starting to be blown out, but it's not quite there. Let's just work our way back over. So if we were to select the maximum setting, then that's clearly reduced. I can just feel that that's not as powerful. But yeah, if we go back to the turbo setting, it's still very, very impressive to get this far. But yeah, just reached, I'd say, around 4 meters. So what I've done is I've just come up with some of the differences between the two air purifiers. Now, which one would I pick? I'll be honest, I don't really know. I think for some people it's a personal decision as to what the priorities are for you. If you wanted something where the purification level is slightly better, then in theory the Coway is the better model to go for. If it's things like the noise level, then if you're certainly going to have it on at night, then I'd recommend the Coway. If it was the perhaps controllability, where you want the remote control, then the Dyson is a winner. Also, if you wanted it to, where as approved with the candle demonstration, I think the Dyson performed a little bit better on that side. So each of them have their own advantages and disadvantages. Also, a big factor when buying something like this is the cost. I very rarely mention cost because costs always vary on these kind of products. At this time of recording, there is around £150 difference between the two. So the Coway is around £150 cheaper than the Dyson. Now for me, that is quite a big factor. I'm not always saying that it's going to be £150 difference. Both of them, there will be different promotions on. So just follow the links below to basically find the products at competitive prices. But as I say, the buying cost is a big factor. Also the maintaining cost, so the maintenance cost on an annual basis should be taken into account. And if you're buying the genuine filters, which I always wholeheartedly recommend, then the Coway at £50 a year against the Dyson at around £70 could be a big factor. I'm never into buying aftermarket filters or cheap filters because you will find that the performance won't be quite as good as using the genuine products. I hope you enjoyed this quick video on the comparison of the Dyson HP00 air purifier and the Coway Airmega Jet AP1220B air purifier. I have to remember those model numbers. It takes a couple of takes always to do that. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. As I mentioned earlier, I would appreciate it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you've got any questions on the products, because I think there's quite a lot to talk about with these two. I try not to go into too much detail. I don't want the video to be too long. Sometimes it can drag on a little bit. But if you've got any questions on them, then just pop it in the comments, because I've got both of these here at the moment. Also, if you've got either of these, if you've either got the Dyson or the Coway, then let me know what you think about it, because I do always appreciate the feedback. Thanks for watching.